I believe it's just a matter of other things that might disqualify some of the cities. Hotels, you have hotels facilities for them. Training facilities, I'm sure they can use the schools over there. So the things more like the hotels, security, food.
In 1996, but we failed because of facilities. Now, the facilities that we had in 1996, maybe that's a time when
The same that we have right now.
yes, maybe that's a time when Kina Slay were being born.
Uh, FIFA announced the 2030 World Cup will be hosted in 6 countries. And
Three continents.
6 countries in 3 continents, yes. The first 3 games are going to be played in Argentina, Uruguay, and they're going to be played in Argentina, Uruguay, and I think it's Paraguay.
Paraguay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Paraguay, culminating the first 100 years of the World Cup. Those 3 countries were the first hosts of the World Cup. So, as a celebration for that, the first 3 games are going to be played in those 3 countries, and then after that, the games are going to move over to Morocco, Spain, and Portugal, who are going to be the main hosts of the tournament. So this is going to be a tournament that's going to be hosted in South America, Africa, and Europe. We've seen this trend in the awarding of the World Cup of late. Started out with the North American bit, which had the USA, Canada, and Mexico hosting the 2020. It's going to be 2026 World Cup.
26 World Cup,
yeah, hosting the 2026 World Cup in a joint bid. So, just a question: do you think that this is the new hosting of sporting events, as we're saying it? Because we've seen events like Olympics, the Commonwealth Games, and even World Cups leaving countries with a lot of white horses, white elephant projects after the tournaments have gone, and the burden leaves those cities broke. Do you think that this is going to become a norm where we're going to see World Cups and major tournaments being held in different countries? And does it make the tournament lose any credibility?
Well, I honestly think that this is the future. The first World Cup to be co-hosted was in 2002, Japan and Korea.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it went back to single countries until the next World Cup, which is going to be hosted in US, Canada, and Mexico. And then now the 2030 World Cup that's going to be hosted in 6 countries. I honestly think that that's the new trend. Whether it's good or bad, we are yet to see. I think the Qatar World Cup was one of the best World Cups. It was one of the few World Cups where you could go
It was
watch
the
two
best World
matches
Cup.
on the same day. Like it was, and that's never happened before. Because typically, if it's in the same country, the other game that's being played on the same day is being played, like in a day, in a city that's far away. So this was a very amazing World Cup. And then the US one is gonna be in spaces that are next to each other. Canada, US, and Mexico. So this is gonna be quite a good opportunity for people who live in the US to take some time
travel,
off
yeah.
and travel around to follow where the games are gonna be. And then we now have 6 countries. I'm okay with those ones, with the Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. I'm okay with them because those countries are right next to each other.
Yeah.
Right there on the Iberian Peninsula, and where the European side meets the northern part of Africa. Logistics are easy within those 3 countries. But to me, it's this addition of these South American countries that's problematic. I think they should have been given their own World Cup in 2034. Rather than now having people who've traveled for a whole month for the World Cup now Kenyan government officials will be benchmarking to see if Kenya is gonna qualify in 2130. They'll now have more avenue to steal money, because now they have to travel
To
from
3 different
Morocco
countries.
to Venezuela.
But I think,
then
aren't
they
they
have to-
playing the first 3 games? Are they within the same time frame? Because I think that was the.
So we don't have those countries are definitely not within the same
So
time
I
zone.
think the thing is, the thing that they were really wondering about is because all the teams have to be together for the opening ceremony,
Got it.
and the opening ceremony is going to be in Asia, and then from there they're going to.
What do you mean Asia? You mean South America?
Sorry, in South America, yes. And then now they have to travel to
Where
their
they'll play.
bases where they're going to be. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm wondering is those teams who have to play in South America and then travel again and then set up base in another country.
Yes, that's
a little
problematic.
bit tedious to the players.
Yeah, that's problematic. You know, it's a bit tedious. I know FIFA is trying to maximize on profits, but this is what you get.
I think it's symbolic. I don't know if it's so much maximizing, because I think it's the whole point of that whole 100 years. Yes, it's the 100 years is.
Then they should just
go host the damn World Cup.
They should have hosted it in South America then.
Yeah, go host it there.
I hear what you guys are saying, but I think probably what's going to happen is Watu Watakambi in wherever it is that you're going to play, and only then just go back. No, you're right.
Remember,
you're right, Mika. You're right.
And set camp like a month earlier.
You're very right.
Acclimatize to get used to the weather and everything.
You're very right.
So these guys are going to acclimatize in Europe, or they're going to acclimatize in South America. And then even if they wherever they're acclimatizing, that traveling is going to affect their game. So imagine they play a game. Those are going to be 6 teams that are going to play a game, and then they come back to Europe or Africa to play teams which have already played in Europe and have acclimated. Those teams coming back are going to lose.
I guess maybe it's going to be the luck of the draw.
So
now maybe Argentina. I'm sure, because these 3 are host countries.
No, those
3 countries will play.
They're going to play their games at home here.
Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay are going to play versus somebody else.
They're going to play at home.
They'll play versus somebody else, I think.
So hope that you're not in a pool that has Argentina, Uruguay, or Paraguay, because you'll be forced to go there for your first matches, and then travel back to Europe or Africa for the other matches. So yeah, we're gonna find out. And some comments were coming in here from back when we were talking about the African Cup of Nations. Let me see. There's Pablo says the Pamoja bid was a very brilliant idea. Countries that bid solo lost. And then let me see. Slay says Mombasa is a tourist attraction. And then Jacano says we are more than ready. There has been more improvements on infrastructure, and with all the East money, we can do it. The organization also allocates money for stadiums. And then James Olongo says Kenya held the 4th All-African Games and did a good job. I hope Kenya will shine, at least hold the finals. At that time, the Kasarani Stadium was fairly new.
Yeah, 88?
Yeah, 87. It was 1987.
I forget the year, but I was there like a nonsense.
And then Pablo says,
Pablo
says governors in Western Kenya are also fighting to have some AFCON games played in Western. What do you think about that, Mika? That being a bastion of a lot of talent.
Kakamega built a very good stadium. Oparanya built a very nice stadium.
African Cup standards.
African Cup standard it can host, because we've seen the way other countries have hosted. You remember the one that was in Burkina Faso? The stadium had a Mao in the middle of it, and like a huge rock protruding right somewhere at the corner at the end of the stadium. I believe it's just a matter of other things that might disqualify some of the cities. Hotels. You have hotels facilities for them. Training facilities, I'm sure they can use the schools over there. So the things more like the hotels, security, food, those are the things that they're going to look and see if those cities qualify with.
Okay.
But I totally agree. If they, as you said, just the way Mombasa is, every other city that feels they can host and they have the capability of hosting should throw in their hat in the ring and see if
Yeah.
they're picked.
Yeah.
I
And
want
Kakamega
everybody
has
to try
flights
and
now. They have flights that go there.
To
So
me, the Kipkeino Stadium one, and this is not political, is the one that I've not understood. I have not
Kano
known.
is it needs to be refurbished.
But I've not known that being an area where people go. I'm not saying soccer matches have not been played there, but that's not a soccer area. Like the soccer crazy areas that we know: Western Kenya, Nairobi, Nyanza, Mombasa. These are areas that have been soccer crazy. That have people who are local people who are actually gonna go out and watch. You remember one of the issue that the AFCON that I think the last one that Kenya played, was it in Egypt? I think it was in Egypt, where there was an issue of stadiums not being filled.
That is a very huge problem in African Cup of Nation games because usually, especially in Egypt, in those sides, Egypt, Morocco, and even in some parts of West Africa, you will only find fans of local teams or teams that are closer by people can go.
Yeah,
Remember, traveling in Africa is very hard and expensive.
that's true. Even
It's a
within a
very
country.
expensive affair. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just traveling within Africa, so African fans don't travel that well.
Yeah,
They don't travel that well. So you want a soccer crazy area where the local fans can go, and then the good thing about Kenyan fans is that Kenyan fans have foreign teams they support.
so they'll
Like
pull
you'll
up.
find there's staunch Ivory Coast fans in Kenya, there's staunch Nigerian
Nigerian
fans
fans,
in
yeah.
Kenya, there's staunch Cameroon fans in Kenya. So yeah, it can actually work out. Just go to a soccer crazy area, and those games will have. And if the tickets are pricing is reasonable, those games are gonna have fans available.
Yeah, that's why for me, the Kipkeino Stadium one, it has kind of caught me off guard because like I just don't know. But let's wait and see and find out what's gonna happen. Now, Luis Muya says Mombasa Municipal Stadium cannot be renovated to international standards without demolishing thousands of homes. There's just no space. They can build one in Vipingo though. There's already a dual carriage being built. That's a good idea coming from Luis Muya. And then Lawrence Kenya said, we failed in 1996 to host, and since then nothing has changed, not even a new stadium. God bless 254. And then